All right, now, guys, listen, a lot of news. Man, there's so much. The news just doesn't stop. It's insane. But I'm bringing on my next guest, Neil McCabe. He's a national political reporter for RedState.com. And there's several issues that I would like to talk, or topics that I would like to talk to Neil McCabe about. The situation with Israel and Hezbollah. Secret Service whistleblower reveals that the would-be assassin had some inside information. Iran hacked the Trump campaign in order to help out the Biden-Harris campaign, and a little more. Neil McCabe of RedState.com. Welcome to the Larry Elder Show, man.
Hey, very good to be with you, sir.
All right. So, Neil, let's start here. First off, I just want to get your take. I want to talk about Israel real quick. I have never been a fan of sex change surgeries, but I am completely down for Israel sex change surgeries of Hezbollah terrorists. Was this straight up genius or what?
Yeah, this is incredible. You know, I spent some time in the Army, and you know, one of the things is when you're fighting an insurgent, right? You never want to make the insurgent or the terrorist feel comfortable, right? So even when you're not fighting him, you want to push him, move him, right? You never want a guy sleeping the same place 3 nights in a row. You know, you want him to feel very agitated and unsure of himself. In the same token, the U.S. Army, a lot of people don't know this, but the largest job specialty in the United States Army is not infantry or artillery. It's the combat medic. There are more combat medics than any other job specialty in the Army, because the U.S. Army is telling every soldier, if something happens to you, we're going to take care of you. It's like a I don't want to say a safety blanket, but it gives that soldier confidence that if he's fighting and something happens, he's going to be taken care of. That sort of sanctuary in your job is completely abolished if you're a Hezbollah, because no one has, like, forget having your back. What about your hip? It's like, it is insane what has happened. And I'll tell you something else. I'll bet you dollars to donuts. A lot of people didn't know that their neighbor was Hezbollah until their hip blew up. It's like a lot of these guys, you know, you're like waiting in line at Target and the guy's hip blows up. I want to know if any of those pagers went off at CNN's newsroom.
Well, if it did, they would keep it on the DL. I'm speaking to Neil McCabe of Red State. I think those pagers were going off. What's that smoke at CNN headquarters? That is hilarious. But man, you're right. And no, I did not know that about the medic. So you're enlightening me here. I appreciate that. But that makes total sense, and especially from a sense of psychological warfare, even. I mean, you have to wonder if they would be terrified about grabbing anything. And now we find out that Israel actually made or pieced together the beepers themselves, and then the same with the walkie-talkies, apparently.
This wasn't even cyber war, right? This was not a hack, because there's a lot of talk now. What do you do with this whole cyber warfare? And there's talk of going back to typewriters, because you can't hack a piece of paper in a manila folder. You can hack a typewriter. And so what Hezbollah was doing is it was doing this tactic of going, and a lot of places are doing it, a lot of organizations are doing it, where you go retro and just a more primitive communication system, because it's less susceptible to the cyber hacking. But they forgot you can hack the supply chain. Like when you order your pagers from Mossad, you don't have to. Hacking isn't your problem.
Yeah. That is so true. Do you expect a major escalation at this point with Hezbollah? Do you think they'll be a little more intimidated? What do you think? What do you foresee happening going forward?
Listen, a few years ago, I saw Florida State destroy my dad's alma mater, Boston College. And I remember I'm watching the players like yelling at the coaches, and I mentioned what the players were saying, right? They're saying, you told me you had a plan. You told me you scouted these guys. You're going to get killed out there. That's what those guys at Hezbollah are saying to their bosses.
Wow, that's a good point.
You told me you owned this. Why am I working for you people?
Wow,
And the other thing, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's like even if the Hezbollah leadership had a plan, how do you communicate that plan to anybody? First of all your beepers are gone, right? That was your plan. Right. Like you literally have no beepers anymore. But I don't even what are you going to do? Use pigeons? It's like I would be very careful buying anything. Like I bet you the Israelis own pigeons now.
No, honestly, you're probably right. They're probably training them and selling them because that'll be their next bet, or they'll have to use couriers like they did with Osama bin Laden. But I don't know if that'll be easier or harder for them.
You can't have a meeting. You can't have a meeting.
Oh, that's true.
As soon as 5 or 6 of them are in a room, they get hit with a missile.
That is true. Yeah, I honestly, man, listen. I appreciate your service to our country. When I heard this story, I'm one of these people. I'm like, just let Israel be Israel. Just get out of the way and let them do their thing. And I kind of feel like that's what they did. And I think they're kind of in a hurried stance because they don't know what's going to happen in November. We don't know what's going to happen in November. I pray to God that Trump wins. But I think Israel have to fight with a sense of urgency right now, don't they?
Everyone around the world knows that they are on the clock, and you're seeing it with Ukraine, and you're seeing it. They know that the Ukrainians know that wherever battle lines are when Trump gets elected, that's where they stay. And people, I'm sure that the Chi-Coms are gaming out what to do with Taiwan, because they're not going into Taiwan if Trump is the president of the United States or even the president-elect. And so, there's a lot of people are sort of on edge right now because all of the troublemakers are on the clock, because all the games end when Trump takes that oath of office in January of 25.
Man, isn't that amazing, the difference between a real leader and someone like Joe Biden or Kamala Harris that the world knows is an absolute and utter joke? I don't know if I saw if it was today, but earlier a caller called in basically asking, what would happen if Kamala Harris became president, was the commander in chief with the world respect or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I'm like, we're watching it. The world, the dictators, they will have their way with Kamala Harris the same way that they're having their way with Joe Biden, perhaps even more so. What do you think the world would look like, Neil McCabe of RedState.com, if Kamala Harris became the president?
I think, I don't be remembered as the guy, defending Joe Biden. But for all of his sins, Biden was the vice president of the United States for 8 years and spent a lot of time in the Senate and has a cadre of experienced handlers. And because of his personal relationships and because the people around Biden, there was at least some control and there was some overhang from 4 years of Trump. I believe that Biden was sort of riding that overhang from Trump so that people remembered what Trump was like. And Biden got that credit because he was also president of the United States. All that's gone. And, think about it. I mean, 3 days before Russia went into Ukraine, they sent Harris to Ukraine to try to stop it. And the Russians just rolled in. And, go ahead.
Hold that thought, Neil. Hold that thought. We'll be back. More with Neil McCabe of RedState.com when we're back. Hey, Carl Jackson here. You've asked, and MyPillow has listened. They're finally bringing you the most requested offer ever. Right now, you can get the queen-size premium MyPillow for just $19.98. MyPillow is made with a patented adjustable feel. It adjusts to your exact individual needs, regardless of your sleep position. It helps to keep your neck aligned, and it holds its shape all night long so you get the best sleep of your life. But that's not all. You can get their 6-piece kitchen or bath towel sets for just $25. The brand new mattress topper for as low as $69.98,
and their famous MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $25 and so much more. Go to MyPillow.com or give them a call at 800-858-0263. Use the promo code Carl, that's C-A-R-L, I don't spell it like the communists, to get huge discounts on all MyPillow products, including the premium queen-size MyPillow for just $19.98. That's the lowest price ever. Don't delay. Order today. Use promo code Carl at checkout.
All right, welcome back to the program. I'm joined by my guest, Neil McCabe of RedState.com. He's a national reporter for them. Neil, real quick, where can people find you online if they want to read your work or look at some of your clever tweets? I don't like calling it X, but your clever tweets.
Well, you can find me on all the socials, X, Getter, Trump, or True Social at Reporter McCabe, and then, of course, RedState.com. And you can click on to authors, and then you can click on my name and get all my stuff. And, of course, Red State is a phenomenal website for people who don't know. There's about 15 or 20 of us who are front page contributors, and all through the day, there's just constantly new commentary, new news. We're jumping on everything, and we're breaking stories. We're giving fresh perspectives. And if you're not on RedState.com, you're wrong.
You know what I like about Red State too, Neil, is not only are the columnists and authors very smart on RedState.com, but all of you guys seem to have just a tinge bit of sarcasm in you that I think works really well.
There is a snark.
It exists. Whenever I read, I'm like, there's that certain bit of sarcasm, and I absolutely love it. RedState.com, RedState.com. Make sure you check out Neil McCabe. Okay, all right. Now let's move to this here, Neil. Secret Service whistleblowers reveals that would-be assassin may have been inside of the Trump's detail. Basically, the gunman apparently knew vulnerabilities. I don't know if that is confirmed or not, but I got to tell you, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm a little past this incompetence stuff. This is just a little too much. It seems very, it's common sense to me that if the president is playing golf, you're going to sweep the entire perimeter before you let him play golf. That's just me, and I've never been in the Secret Service or the Armed Forces, Neil.
Yeah, I don't want to oversell my military credentials. I was a combat historian in Iraq, and public affairs NCO. I'm not a door kicker or a trigger puller or any one of those guys. However, I will tell you that when Trump makes these sort of spontaneous decisions to go golfing or to a pizza place or whatever, that spontaneity is in and of itself a security measure, because people don't know where you're going to go, and
that's a good point.
You have the jump, right? And so when Kelly told that lie, John Kelly told that lie that Trump said he didn't want to go to that cemetery in France because it was full of losers and suckers. That was a lie, because of the rain in France, helicopters that would do overwatch over Trump or take Trump there, right? He couldn't fly there because of the rain, and then there was like a 45-minute drive on a French country road with no helicopter overwatch. You can't have the president of the United States for 45 minutes exposed like that, and so they had to cancel the trip. And so, this is just common sense that you have to have security for the president of the United States or a former president of the United States. And so part of this spontaneity, nobody knows where he's going. Nobody knows where he's at. And then he's on hole 5, and the shooter's at hole 6. Hello? What's going on? Yeah. What is going on? And, they said we're going to do better. Do better? And then after the shooting in Butler, they leaked that there was an Iranian plot to assassinate Trump. Now, the guy who was part of that plot, he came to the U.S. sponsored by the FBI, because the FBI was